Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm your host, Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
Yes, I am. And we don't have a guest this week, so it's just the two of us again. So let's have some fun and do some Click Pitch. Mm-hmm. So, for those who haven't listened before, Click Pitch is a game where we take a random word generator, and on the count of 3, 2, 1, click, we each grab a new word and try to come up with a game idea based on that. So, it's going to be fun. It's usually pretty ridiculous, but sometimes we come up with some awesome game ideas that we actually really want to play. So, let's see how it goes.
And then we get very depressed.
Yeah, somebody make those games for us. Come on, man.
3, 2, 1, click.
Oh, this is a very gamey word. Fate.
Funeral.
Okay. That's interesting.
I was thinking, do I actually say funeral? And they're like, are you meaning funeral? I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So fate and funeral. I mean, a funeral is the fate for all of us, I guess. I mean, hopefully, if we've got family and friends who are going to mourn us. But is it something about? Is it a game where, like, often in a game the ending is a surprise. You don't know. Well, yeah. Often in a game you are dying along the way to get to an ending of success, right?
Yep.
Maybe this is a game where you know that the ending is your death and your funeral, and
you got to fail upwards.
Well, I'm just thinking, how does that work in a game where, because most games you're dying all the way through until you finally don't die enough to succeed. Is this a game where, how do you do the opposite of that? Where you don't?
Yeah, I was just thinking, do you try to play a game where you're trying to kill the character, but things keep on getting in the way, or it's kind of like a fluffy cloud land, and you're literally like you're being softened with every blow, and it's like, oh.
I was almost thinking a game where, and I mean, I guess this is just any permadeath game, but I was just thinking of a game where wherever you die, that's just where you die. It's your character's dead, and that was it, and it's how far you can get without dying. But I mean, that's most games.
especially in the endless runner.
Yeah, I
game.
guess that's just that. Fate, funeral. Maybe we can change it. Maybe we'll make it like F-E-T-E, like the French word fate. And it's just like a party funeral.
Oh, okay. We'll keep the same fate, but this is the story. Your character has gone to see a fortune teller.
Okay.
And just so it's not on the usual, stereotypical side, when you go in there, it's literally just a guy in a business suit.
Okay.
And he goes, give me your palms. Okay, I read that you are destined to die in this particular place.
Okay.
And so you know that you're destined to die there, but before that, he gives you a couple of other things that you're fated to have done first. And it can then be like either a action-adventure sort of game where you know that by fulfilling these things, you are getting closer to death, but you also manage to save a whole heap of people, so you realise that it's a noble death that you'd be going towards.
Okay, so it's not necessarily something in the game mechanics. It's more of a narrative thing. Yeah, I can see that. So it's almost it could almost be like a Machine of Death game.
Okay, I haven't played that one.
So Machine of Death, you know it because we played the card game, but the general idea...
Oh, yes.
The general idea of the Machine of Death, it came from a couple of books of short stories, and they all revolve around one idea of this machine that you give it a bit of your blood, it spits out a card, and that card always 100% correctly predicts how you're going to die, but it's very vague and often ironic about how about what it puts on those cards. And so, like, the classic one is, you get You put your thumb in, it pricks your blood, you get the card comes out, it says old age, and you go like, yes, I'm going to live till I'm 90 or whatever. And then you cross the road and get hit by a car where a 90-year-old has passed out in the front seat and runs you down, right? Technically, you died as a result of old age. So maybe this is a game where at the beginning you get a prediction, a death prediction from the machine of death. And so throughout this whole game, you're constantly trying to determine if this is where you die based on this cryptic prediction. And yeah, if it's an action adventure or something, like you could be put in all these situations. Or maybe it's even it'd be kind of amusing it would be an interesting design challenge. I mean, this would only work if every character got the same one, because you could also do some sort of procedural thing. Well, that would be very complex. But I'm thinking if it's just in the narrative and the game, and the player always gets the same one at the beginning, you could send them on, like, every single quest has an aspect of it that could be taken to match that prediction. So, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one.
Well, maybe the first thing that it says is you're going to die with something to do with grain.
Right.
So the first mission sends you to a cereal factory.
Okay.
And that's fine. And then you get sent to, like, a lumber mill, and it was like you get killed there where there's, you know, the grain of the wood,
right,
and that sort of stuff. So you got that two sort of
the different meanings. Yeah, like I was thinking
for grain.
I was thinking it could, like, if you got the word roasted, then, like, yeah, at some point the game sends you through, you know, some sort of all of these action adventure games always have, like, a lava level or whatever, like something to do with heat, or you get sent through through a factory where there's all big oven, you know, industrial ovens, and I don't know. But then also, as part of the narrative, you just end up at Thanksgiving dinner with your family, and there's a bit where you could potentially be killed by the roast turkey.
you start choking on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, are you destined to try and not die by this way? So you're trying to avert these methods of death?
Yeah, I guess where the interesting bit comes in is it's one of the things that's interesting about the concept in general. If you know generally how you're going to die, then if you're in a situation where it doesn't seem like anything, like whatever that thing is could happen, then you can feel safe.
Yep.
And so I guess in a game like this, it would be about presenting the character with challenges where either they feel safe because they don't think whatever their prediction is could ever happen at all, and then you somehow are able to surprise them with something that still matches it. Or there are literally just sections of the game where, I mean, it'd be really interesting if this was like, imagine if this is like a platformer.
Like a Prince of Persia platformer?
Yeah, something like that. But based on their prediction, there are whole sections of the game where the game can't let the character die. So no matter what the character does, the game would have to, like, provide some, you know, way for them to not be killed. So even if they jump, like, every time they jump off a ledge, there's something there to catch them. I'm not really sure how that would work as a game, but it's an interesting thought experiment.
And then it just decides to kill you on this one ledge because you happen to land on, like, a roast turkey.
Well, that's the other thing. If the game truly can't figure out a way to save you, then it just fires a roast turkey at your head. And it's like, well, we told you. All right. I think we should click again.
Yep. We tried.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, click. Flight.
Ground. Okay, they cancel each other out. Click again. No. It could be a game where you play a grounded bird that is unable to fly, who would like to.
So I'm thinking it's a story of the kiwi.
Okay, there aren't enough games about kiwis. By which
So-
I mean possibly any.
I'm thinking a 3D ukulele style adventure game.
Yep.
Where you play a kiwi that is like fully photorealistic. Like, this is no cutesy sort of thing. We're talking full photorealistic sort of thing. And the kiwi has always wanted to fly. So his adventure is, he's stuck on the ground, but he wants flight.
Right.
So it's just, a collectible sort of game. You're going out there, you're coming up against, enemies who want to stop you from flying because of some mystical prophecy, maybe of
that if the kiwi ever flies, then
New Zealand is destined
to rule the world.
Something like
I think
that.
this is the second game we've talked about where New Zealand has had global domination in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I like that. I think that should be.
Well, I was
think that
thinking
should
the
be a
chicken,
trend.
but then I'm like, no, the kiwi's a lot more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so you're a kiwi who wants to fly, but the prophecy says that when the kiwi flies, then everyone but New Zealand dies. So basically, basically the world has taken this to mean that New Zealand is going to become is going to finally get nuclear weapons. Nuclear kiwis, I don't know, and destroy the rest of the world.
Well, I'm just wondering if you could actually have like the kiwi as at first it's just a typical kiwi, but then like the New Zealand Secret Service happened to find this kiwi and realize that it's very special and has some secret powers that it can be basically New Zealand's best secret agent. And
Okay.
maybe the prophecy was actually wrong and the kiwi is literally the one to save the world from nuclear war.
Okay,
And the prophecy is if the dodo can't learn to fly,
the dodo,
then the world is doomed.
or the kiwi, because you said you said dodo.
Yeah, I was thinking dodo as well.
Right.
So sorry about that. If the kiwi,
If the kiwi can't fly, then everybody dies. Catchy.
And let's bring in the dodo now. Turns out that they
The dodo's the villain.
either the dodo is the villain or the dodo is like the mysterious mentor. The dodo is a race that is of bird that is no longer around, and it was because they couldn't learn to fly.
Or maybe they eventually did learn to fly, and that's where they went.
Either way, there's the start of the story. I think a Kiwi secret agent sounds pretty awesome.
I do think that sounds awesome. Now, just while you were saying all that, and I'm not going to throw away that idea necessarily. We can
Better fucking not.
We can either throw away my idea or take key aspects of both. But I had the thought of, instead of it just being, like the humans of New Zealand find this kiwi and blah blah blah. What if it's a world where like everyone in New Zealand are kiwis, so they're just like, but they wear clothes and like they live the way that humans do right now, but they're just kiwis, and it's them as the race of kiwis who have discovered this prophecy, and that that one of them needs to fly, and then they find this particular one who, for whatever reason, is their best bet at meeting this prophecy. And then the rest of the stuff you can keep. He becomes a secret agent.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so during the game, he meets up with the Australian secret agent.
Okay.
Is the Australian secret agent a kangaroo or a koala?
Or is everyone else in the world just human? I kind of love the idea of everyone else being human, but just everyone from New Zealand are Kiwis. And either, I'm not sure if it's funnier if the rest of the humans don't notice, like don't think it's strange, or if they do, like every time they meet a New Zealander, they're just like, it's a fucking bird. Like, what's going on? And I can't.
Either way, I really like this idea of this photorealistic world in which this Kiwi in like a tuxedo.
Yeah, and it's not even an anthropomorphic Kiwi. Like they just look like the actual Kiwi looks. So they're tiny.
They can speak English.
They're tiny, but like people have to kneel down to talk to them.
But they only make mention of like the size, like the height difference and that sort of stuff. I was like, I forgot how tiny New
Zealanders are.
were.
Yeah, they don't even call them Kiwis like we call New Zealanders Kiwis, as a colloquial term. Or maybe that's just like that's totally racist to call them a Kiwi, even though that's like this species looks like only they can call themselves Kiwis. So they just have to be New Zealanders.
You're getting into some race relations now.
Okay, so the the New Zealanders. I don't want to offend them. So the New Zealanders find this secret agent Kiwi. What's his or her name?
Oh God. I'm thinking that at the start you can choose between either a guy or a girl. So
okay, we'll go like Mass Effect style choices. Do they just get referred to by their last name like Mass Effect then? Agent.
Yeah,
agent.
I think for ease of like voice recording and that sort of stuff. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's it, right? I don't know, agent. We are terrible at thinking of names.
Okay, so the boy's name, Oliver. Girl's name, Olivia.
Okay.
I may happen to be looking at New Zealand's 100 most popular baby names in 2015.
Wait, was that the male and female name? Most popular names? Yep. Oh my God, New Zealand. Seriously, you just name all your kids the same name, basically?
Oliver and Olivia.
Right.
So I think that works out well.
And just, again, for ease of voice recording, everyone just kind of mumbles it. Oh, it's Olivia. It's Olivia. It's Olivia. or at least it'll cut down on it because you only have to re-record the last couple of syllables every time. It's, welcome, Agent Olive E.
Oh, God.
Okay. Where
else can we go?
I was going to say, are we going to dig further into this rich narrative, or are we going to click again?
Oh, I really like it. I think it's actually kind of cool. I'm just wondering if, like, throughout it, it's like you're not trying to find a way of getting your tiny little wings to work, but you're literally
no. It's literally searching out some like mystical, prophetic device or something created by the ancient ones. That's a common trope. But anyway,
put mechanical wings on.
Yeah, and it only fits Kiwis. Like it's not made for humans, so it's only the Kiwis who can use it.
That's awesome.
I do kind of like the idea of the Mass Effect. Like it's really serious, sort of in the Mass Effect style. It's very serious. You've got all these, close up conversation trees, RPG style stuff. But then the gameplay isn't Mass Effect like run and gun. It's platforming. It's ukulele style platforming. So in between, you're like grabbing collectibles and then you get to a place and it's like, thank God you made it, Agent Olivia.
Wait, did you say Olivia? My name's Oliver. Whatever.
They just do that every single conversation. They switch it around each time. Whichever one they wanted that character to say. All right, you're going to use Oliver. The next conversation, they'll say Olivia. I mean, someone's just always getting it wrong every second time.
Oh, that's funny. I'm just imagining this tiny little Kiwi just, spouting out all these conversations, having like some massive gunfight.
No, well, that's it. It's not gunfights. They have to jump on their fucking heads, Mario style. Like it's full on classic 3D platformer.
I'm actually looking at pictures of Kiwis now. I'm like,
I
don't think they've actually got wings.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? It's why they need the mechanical ones.
Yeah, I just want to copy this image and see if I can just paste it in here.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. We'll put that in the show notes.
So it's a picture of a kiwi, but it's been cut in half and there's a kiwi fruit inside the kiwi.
It's pretty awesome.
It's one of the best pictures I've ever seen.
All right.
Oh, turns out, yes, they do have wings. They're just absolutely fucking tiny.
It's vestigial, basically.
Yeah, they are absolutely tiny. Just type in kiwi wing.
Kiwi wing. Everybody home, type in kiwi wing. We're all looking up kiwi wings. Oh my goodness. That's really fucking funny.
How small are they?
It's like a little fucking drumstick just stuck in under all that feather. I guess it's feathers. It looks really...
Yeah.
Their feathers look really fur-ish, but... Oh, well, and that's... And
kiwi wings.
well, and that's
And-
sort of a bit of a kick 'em while it's down in that then
One,
their name...
2, 3, 4. Kiwi wings recipe. 4 down in the list of links, and it's kiwi wings recipe.
Right.
And it's got 5 stars from allrecipes.com.au.
Well, I was going to say it's kind of a bit of a kick when they're down because their name, the genus of them, Apteryx in ancient Greek means without wing. It's like, come on, man, we've got wings under here. Maybe that could be like a common theme throughout the game. Is people are constantly referring to them as like wingless birds or something. It's like we've got wings, and they like stick out their little.
Look,
Look,
it's like we evolved from T-Rexes. That's why we've got tiny wings.
So don't piss me off, or I'll bite your fucking head off.
Okay. Let's click again. 3, 2, 1, click.
Seek.
Tower.
Ooh, Seek the Tower. It's a Dark Tower tie-in video game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, let's go.
I mean, geez, there's a lot there. How would you turn the Dark Tower into a video game? That would be... I mean, obviously he's a gunslinger, like, you'd think it would be easy, but he doesn't do all that much gunslinging story-wise.
No.
There are some big set-piece moments.
It's kind of like a walking simulator with, like, talking and occasional Stephen King references.
Yeah, he's walking across the desert.
Towards, like, a tower-like structure in the distance.
It's another one of these desert bus style games where you just have to keep heading towards the tower and you never get there.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure we can come up with our own version of like the Black Tower is what we'll call it.
Okay,
it's
so
not the
this
Dark
isn't
Tower,
this
it's
isn't
the
Stephen
Black
King's intellectual property. We're not licensing the Dark Tower. It's a new thing.
Yes. So you play the gun wrangler. So not a gunslinger, but a gun wrangler.
Okay. The gun wrangler. He comes across. He's walking through the desert along the beach. He gets his toe taken. Well, that happens in the book, though, doesn't it? He loses a toe and some fingers.
So obviously we've got a man in white.
He's following the man in white. He finds 3 portholes on the beach, and goes into them and pulls out a woman named Teddy.
Yep. Obviously the big boss person is Flandel Rag.
Jesus. All based on a series of books by Stephen Ding. Chandler Bing.
Get it right. Kevin Sting.
Okay, we're just doing spoonerisms.
Pretty much. I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
So it's actually the Tark Dower. Is the game we're making. Let's click again.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, click.
Upsetting.
Contemporary.
That's an interesting one. I feel like there's some sort of social dynamics at play. Well, I mean, upsetting, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just that it's set in contemporary times, or are we talking about you're upsetting your contemporaries?
They're performed by a contemporary dancer.
What even defines contemporary dance? It's just like recent.
Not the sort of stuff that I normally do.
Yeah, like just modern dance, I guess, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of freeform stuff.
Okay. So it's a VR game where you're trying to make the most upsetting contemporary dance moves.
Yeah, but all I'm imagining is just people doing vulgar like moves towards their groin, and then people just don't want to play.
So basically, every Just Dance game ever, or Dance Central.
Yep. Okay, click again. 3, 2, 1, click.
We're not getting really great words this week.
Ability.
Park. All right, this is about a superhero who has the power to parallel park perfectly every time. But does he use it for good or evil?
See, I was going. It was a superhero where his power is to have perfect parkour. So
you just can't fall. He can jump from anything to anything as long as he can see it, no matter the distance.
I'm now imagining this is just another Mirror's Edge game.
Well, maybe it's both. Maybe he's a parkour parker. Parallel parker.
I don't quite get how that's going to work.
Well, because you could like park a car, but you're so good at it that you can park it so close to the other cars that they can't get out. And so, someone's robbing a bank and you prevent them from getting away in the getaway car by like getting all the cars around them and parking them in perfect precision so that they're stuck.
And then, to get out of the car yourself, you wind down the window and you can, flip out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Just bounds away across all these perfectly parallel parked cars. All right, fuck. Let's click again. We got to find one that we can really get some meat.
Let's find the nug.
Yeah.
To borrow the parlance from another podcast.
All right.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, click. Cartridge
Sneak.
Okay. So, you are on a quest to get the elusive, now I'm talking really elusive, Atari 2600 game E.T. the video game.
Well, that's not that elusive, is it? Because didn't they make like thousands of them?
Yeah, but this is before.
This is before they dug them out of the landfill.
This is in like it's set in the 80s.
Okay. So
you can have an amazing soundtrack.
All right. So, okay, this is set in the 80s. It's before the games come out. And so you're trying to sneak into the like Atari 2600 cartridge printing factory to get a copy of this awesome E.T. game that's coming out that's going to blow the world away.
And as you think that, it's going to be the bestseller of this Christmas, you need to get that copy now.
Right. Or multiple copies if you can. Sell them on pre-eBay. That's what eBay was before it existed.
Actually, you know what? This is the original developer of like the 2600.
Okay.
And he thinks that the release of the ET 2600 Atari 2600 game is going to completely decimate
the gaming
Atari
industry.
sales. So he's trying to get in to steal the master cartridge that they're going to develop all other cartridges on.
Maybe you're a time traveler who has gone back in time to prevent the great gaming crash of the 80s, precipitated by the release of the terrible game E.T. on the Atari 2600. I like that because you could play with a lot of 80s pop culture stuff and the bringing modern stuff back into the 80s and stuff. That'd be cool. Or a period
but of course,
piece.
You've forgotten some of the stuff that happened in the 80s, so you're bringing up and referencing stuff that maybe hasn't happened yet.
Well, yeah, you could have conversation trees and stuff where you have to answer particular things, and you have to answer in a way that doesn't give away that you're...
Yeah, so if you're trying to make any Back to the Future references, well, that didn't come out later on in the 80s, and you really kind of fucked. But because you've gone back in time and you happen to travel back in time, in this case in a DeLorean, you want to make those sort of those
No, it can't be a DeLorean.
Connections.
It can't be a DeLorean. I mean,
it's a Trans Am.
No, it's got to be something because the DeLorean at the time in 1985, the DeLorean was like an actual car, right? That people thought looked cool. So now it's got to be like a Tesla or something, right? Like, or are they too common? Maybe something lesser known, or maybe it's something really ugly. Like maybe it's one of those really boxy looking. What are they?
Happens to be a Datsun 120Y.
I don't know cars enough to know what that looks like, but I just looked it up and yeah, okay. No, I think like this is if we're going to do some Back to the Future references and rip it off, basically, because you are going back, well, more than 30 years. E.T. came out in December 82, so you're going back, 36, 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. Oh, my God. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, dude, we're old.
We're old. Fuck. This game came out when I was 1.
Yeah. Yeah, 1982.
I guess we're not as old as all the people who are listening and going, oh, yeah, I remember when E.T. came out on the Atari 2600. You're old, guys. Sorry, but you're old.
Or we're a lot older than the people going,
what the fuck is an Atari 2600? Who the fuck are Atari?
What the fuck is a Datsun 120Y? What's Back to the Future?
Oh, no, no.
That's bad.
You better go fucking watch Back to the Future now, you goddamn millennial shit. I think technically we're millennials, whatever.
Thank you for listening, though.
Oh, yeah, don't go away. I'm sorry. Just go watch it. Pause this. Go watch all 3 movies. They're all pretty good. The third one's the weakest, but it's still worth a watch. And then come back and listen to the rest of this, so we can make more Back to the Future references and you'll understand them.
Okay, so I'm really liking this idea. So, just like in Back to the Future, there's a antagonist, a Biff, as you were.
Yeah.
So maybe the antagonist is like the head of the Atari Corporation. Oh, in fact, no. Who would have actually profited from the video game industry's demise?
I mean,
the head of Nintendo America.
Well, no. Well, eventually, but I was going to say like more traditional toys, like the yo-yo lobby.
So
fucking Slinkies.
So the owner of like
Novelty Corp.
the Slinky Novelty Corp.
Yeah.
They've already travelled back in time a little bit before you, and they've managed to hide said Atari 2600 master cartridge because they happen to get a job at this place. So you've got to kind of sneak into a whole heap of different places, thinking Sam Fisher style, like from Splinter Cell.
Wait, so who are we playing? Who's the protagonist?
We're playing.
Like, are we just an avid video game player from the year 2017?
No, I'm thinking that we're the original creator of the ET 2600 game, and we've decided that we're going to go back in time to destroy our worst creation.
Okay.
And it gives us kind of weathered feel, like how Sam Fisher's old in the later Splinter Cell games, but he's still
that's about
quite
right.
good at that.
So I think
that would be good too.
We play as Howard Scott Warshaw, because I've just looked him up on Wikipedia. He's 59 years old in 2017. So that's about right.
So that's fine. He's just graying.
He's now a psychotherapist. So can we bring that in there somewhere?
Quite possibly. But yeah, it turns out that over the intervening years in this maybe parallel universe, he actually worked as a secret agent or something like that. So he's got those stealth skills that he's got to try and then break into the factory. And when you happen to break into the factory, you see your arch nemesis, the owner of the novelty core, happen to pick it up, and he also has gone through the spy training. Just so happens he worked for Russia.
Really? Okay. I guess that's the classic 80s villain, so that makes sense.
Cold War, yes.
Yep.
In fact, in this universe, the Cold War never finished.
Okay, wait. So it's not just a parallel universe in that they might go back and change what we currently know. It's that even the timeline they're coming from is a parallel universe?
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, like, in our current universe, Russia as the bad guy is kind of coming back into vogue.
And that's because it never actually went away. The Cold War has always been going. Didn't you see that Simpsons episode where they hit the button and they turned back into the USSR?
Yes.
And then Lenin came back to life.
Oh my God. All right. Let's not go too deep into like geopolitical politics in this stupid game about stealing an ET cartridge. All right, so yeah, whatever. Spy training. Maybe they just did like a crash course in spy training before going back going back in the Tesla.
You know what they did?
What?
They did an online university course.
They did an online spy training course. So did it work then, or are both of these guys just like total
Inept.
bumbling? And look, this is nothing against you, Howard Scott Warshaw. If you happen to come listen to this episode, I'm definitely going to mention you in a tweet about it, so you might hear it. This is an alternate universe. I'm sure you're a very good spy, but in this thing,
I just love the visual
take an
of
online university. Yeah, like they're trying to do the splits move,
downloading PDFs.
how to be a spy. That's like your tutorial of the actual game itself. Like it's how it teaches you the different moves. Or maybe it's even that. Or maybe it's even that he's gone back in time. Good old Howie W. Gone back in time. He's there and he's like, "Oh shit! I should have done some spy training." But as part of like the time travel thing, his smartphone still works in 1982. So he's like, that's part of the tutorials. Every time you have to do a new move, he like downloads a new PDF from onlinespyschool.com. That's awesome. So you've got kind of limited moves, I guess. Or does that just work? Does he just get really, really good?
I think if it's like he's trying to climb up a wall, and do the split sort of crawl up the wall.
Yeah.
He can only go so wide, and if it goes too wide, he starts complaining about his hamstrings or something like that. Like it's sort of like, I think this is how I should do it, and he just looks uncool as all hell.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Just this inept.
But I'm thinking that the Novelty Co guy is like the real deal.
Okay, he's done some actual training.
Yep.
Because what else do you do when you're the CEO of a novelty company? Well, I guess this is years later. I guess he's spent his whole life fuming over the fact that that video games. Well, wait, but then he'd know about the video game crash. Oh, okay, so maybe he comes from an alternate universe where there was no video game crash because E.T. actually got cancelled.
Or got stolen by this guy, so he's gone back in time to try and stop the paradox.
Right. Okay, so you're actually you're kind of two timelines in. So, like, in the original timeline, it's as we know it, E.T. was released. The video game market crashed because of all the money spent on it and how much of a failure it was. No, I might be paraphrasing history here, I don't know, but this is what we're going with. But then in the alternate timeline, after Howie W. goes back, he steals it. The video game industry is stronger than ever. We got full-on VR in, 2003. By the time it's 2017, like...
We got...
It's the most...
Literally holodecks.
Yeah, it's like taking over the world. But this
it's full on
guy,
fucking Star Trek.
This guy for 30 plus years, the CEO of Slinky Novelty Corp, has been fuming over the fact that his business went down the drain because of video games. Fucking video games. You can't even touch them. Oh, except now that you can because you have holodecks. But whatever, it's not the same.
So he goes back because he realizes there was actually a glitch in the...
Yeah, he was like looking at security. Like he goes back. He's been exploring. He's been researching this historical event, the release of E.T. Or at least he tracks it down to the release of E.T. as like a glitch, and he sees Howie on his smartphone. Right, like it's like shit. He sees that he's gone back in time, and so he determines
to go back in time, and that's when
to go back in time and stop him.
Yep,
that's where the game
quite
starts.
Like that idea. Trying to stop the, paradoxes from happening and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. I, for one, really, really, really want to play that game because I think it'd be cool.
That's really awesome.
Click refresh. 3, 2, 1. Click.
All right. Duck.
Tape.
All right, well, that's a good start. Let's see where we can go with duct tape.
As in the animal or the actual...
animal? No, the animal.
I thought you might have actually said ducks.
Actually got ducked? No. So, I mean, but that's perfect because, everyone, or like a lot of people think it's duct tape anyway. They get it wrong. So let's come up with what a game about duct tape would actually be. Like, are you a duck who uses tape as to get around? Are you someone who tapes ducks together for some reason? Is it tape made from ducks? Let's explore it. This idea.
I've just imagined this universe where everything that exists that is like computers and stuff is just ducks taped together. You want a table? It's like 17 ducks taped together.
It's just for some reason, we discovered how to breed ducks extremely efficiently, and the duck economy just exploded. And so the whole world had to start figuring out how to make things out of ducks and tape.
And it's not the good tape either. It's not duct tape.
It's not duct tape. It's like
just
Scotch tape.
Sellotape.
So the things keep falling apart. The ducks just fall off, run away. I'm picturing people driving down the road, but the cars are literally just... Like, all the ducks that are on the bottom of this car just have to walk. Like, all their little legs, their feet just slapping along the road. Just going along in this duck-based vehicle.
Okay, I'm really in this, like, parallel universe sort of secret agenty sort of feel today.
Yeah.
This is an alternate universe where...
I hope so.
Where it turns out that... all the major heists that have been performed in the world has been performed by this duck. This really, insanely intelligent duck. And in the latest heist, it managed to be caught on tape.
Okay. So it all comes down to the duct tape. Everyone talks about the duct tape.
Yes.
Where this duck was finally seen.
And no one actually believes that this duct tape actually exists.
Or that a duck could... or that it provides evidence that this is the person or the thing, the being that performed all these heists.
And that maybe in this world, like, ducks are secretly, the leaders of the free world, but they're letting us think that we're the leaders. But it turns out
kind of like the mice in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
All right, so this is I like the premise. How do we make it into a game? Who do you play? Is it like an investigative sort of thing?
I think it's an investigative type of thing, where maybe you go through a couple of these, investigating these heists that have been happening, and you keep on finding things that, feathers, kind of like, and you immediately piece it together that it's from like bedding, because it's like from the quilt.
I like the idea of someone starting to play this game, and if you can manage to keep it secret, they don't actually know from the beginning that it's a duck. Like, they think it's just a standard sort of investigative adventure game of sorts, and
they're starting to really go down that path of, wow, this
piecing together clues,
quilt heist sort of thing, or whatever the funny pun name we come up with. This thief,
Duna Dodger.
God. But because obviously we don't have to call the game duct tape, because
no, exactly. This is the thing. It's like it's at least 4 or 5 heists deep into this game before you finally get the duct tape where it's caught on tape. And all of the little things that you thought were random or, had to do with either using pillows to silence their weapons, like why there are always duck feathers at the scene of the crime. Turns out it's just a fucking duck. It's a duck doing the heist.
And then it leads into this government conspiracy in which you end up
then it just
in like the White House, and you
And the duck who is actually Prime Minister comes out from behind the chair. Like, the chair spins around and there's a fucking duck sitting there. As the robotic Donald Trump gets pushed to the side.
You know how we all thought that it was actually the Oval Room? Or the Oval Office? It's not. It's the Egg Office.
It's slightly tapered at one end. You couldn't tell. Dun, dun, dun. It's the biggest giveaway.
But I think that...
It's not actually Donald Trump, it's Donald Duck.
Oh, God. It shouldn't be as funny as it was.
Before him was Barack Obama. I can't think of one for George Bush.
George, two in the hand is worth one in the bush, or whatever it is.
A duck in the hand is worth one in the George W. Bush. Bill Clinton! Oh my god, this is real, man. We're uncovering a fucking conspiracy. Oh, shit. Fuck.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
I was spending too much time trying to work out not Bill Clinton, George W. Bush.
Yeah.
I didn't go back that far.
He was an anomaly. The duck actually lost that year. John Kerry was the fucking duck.
Oh, shit.
Did John Kerry run against Bush? Oh, that was the second term.
No, it was Al Gore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Al Gore's just a duck's name anyway. Alright. I think we should click again. I don't think we can beat that on this one.
No. Okay, let me just have a drink of water.
Yeah.
I've got a headache now, thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
3, 2, 1, click.
Naughty.
Scholar.
Ooh, a naughty scholar. Okay. How, other than sexual harassment of their students, could a scholar be naughty? Well, I mean, I guess a scholar is just someone who's learning, but I guess I went to kind of teacher or professor sort of thing.
Okay, I'm picturing this as like an Animal House style university.
Right.
But based in like the late 1800s.
Ooh, interesting.
So
I have no idea what universities would have been like in the late 1800s, really. But
I'm just imagining the naughty pranks that some of these people would have got up to. But of course they don't have today's technology and all that sort of stuff. So when they did panty raids, they were getting like the old like grandma's panties sort of level panties, and I'm just what?
No, I was just needed to clear my throat.
No, you said what?
Well,
I'm thinking knickerbockers and
I know,
that sort of stuff.
I know, but just the idea of a panty raid in general is pretty horrible. They're literally sneaking into girls' dorms and things.
Okay, so they're sneaking in and they're like, oh, I saw her ankle.
Jesus. I don't think this one's good either. I think we need to click again.
Come on, give it a try. Okay, we can click again. 3, 2, 1, click.
Yep.
Insert.
Library. Insert library. You have to insert a book into the wrong place to screw up the Dewey Decimal System. And it pisses off the librarian.
Okay, so I'm wondering, is this a game where you play a librarian and you realize that, and yet again, I'm going down this secret agent sort of path.
Okay.
Some people have been these people have been using like books in the library been put into certain positions to actually like send secret messages between people.
Yep.
So what actually happens is this librarian gets involved by literally saying, "Oh, this book is in the wrong place." She moves the book to the right place.
Yep.
But then she has to go on the run because she's inserted the book into the wrong place. She has to go on the run because
so she's inadvertently sent a message by changing the position of the book?
Yes. And so the people who the message was intended for are trying to catch her, because the positioning of the numbers determines what the code actually was that they were supposed to get. So they're trying to catch her so that they can find out where the
where it was originally,
where the book was positioned originally.
Okay.
And just for easiness sake, she happens to have a photographic memory, so she remembers everything.
Yeah. She knows whenever any book is out of place.
Yep.
Okay.
So a bit of intrigue, bit of other stuff. Point and click adventure game this time though.
All right. So point and click adventure. You're on the run from. Is it secret agents again? Is it like a government agency? Is it like a terrorist cell working within?
Okay, yeah, terrorist cell.
Country?
We haven't done terrorist cell yet.
All right. What is the goal of the terrorists? And let's make sure to keep this something non-political, if possible. I'm concerned about where this episode's heading in certain ways. All right. So terrorists. What is their goal? Does it matter? I guess it doesn't matter, but they're extremists of some sort or another.
They're extremists of some sort, and I think their goal is to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Sure. They call themselves the National Treasures. They worship Nick Cage. Who knows why they want it, but that's their goal. The Declaration of Independence. Maybe they want to blow all the dust off it. Call back. Okay.
God, I forgot about that game.
So, all right, if we're doing point and click adventure, let's at least go a little bit further into the story and the narrative, because the gameplay is basically already there, unless we're doing anything novel with it.
Well, I think, maybe it can start.
Are there lots of word puzzles and things? Like, maybe this is an educational game.
Yeah, I think that you can, as part of like the dialogue trees, because you got to have subtitles on. You have a sixth sense of, you can tell when someone's using the wrong version of a word, and you can press them on that.
Okay, I love this idea of. So she's not just a librarian; she's a teacher as well, and she part of her technique for getting information out of people is to scold them or teach them the correct version of the word, or when they use the wrong grammar.
This is not exactly the best word, but she's a grammar Nazi.
Yes, exactly. Or maybe it's just maybe that's even not part of the main gameplay. Well, I guess in some cases it could be, but you can get bonus things by. It's not even an option in the dialogue tree, but if someone uses bad grammar, you can click on that spot in their
on the subtitle.
On the subtitle, it generally would have to be at a point where you've got options to say something. It's got maybe the last thing they said, but if in that last thing they said there's bad grammar, you can click on it and you get an extra hidden dialogue option, which is where she corrects it. And sometimes you can get extra information out of them, or I get a whole new branch.
I think that's kind of cool. And there's actually a mode that if you detect something within the conversation that has been said wrong, you can activate her special ability, and you can mark out.
Oh, scroll back up, and it's you bring out your red pen.
she can circle, and you know, if you happen to click on something, she'll scrub it out, and she'll make comments, and it's running narrative in her head.
It's kind of like in Sherlock, the BBC one where he goes into his little mind palace or whatever, and everything's in slow motion and he's going back over what has happened or what people have said. It's like that, except it's like she's marking papers.
Yep.
And she's got a red pen out, and yes, you're just seeing like you got the great little Sharpie squeak sound of the Sharpie. Circle this right in the comments, blah, blah, blah. And when all that finishes, you've got these extra cutting dialogue options that just attack their grammar and their mode of speech.
Yeah, and maybe she can use some of that to deduce, different facts.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking at the start, the first part of the game is she's just going through doing her regular duties. It may be like a really high-tech library in which something's just been installed saying that these books have been returned to the wrong position. Please go fix them.
I wonder if there's almost there's something there where they're replacing the Dewey Decimal System with this like location encoded high-tech system that just knows where the books are at all times, so they don't need the actual numbers and letters combination anymore. And she's like pissed off at that, and so it doesn't work. Like she's the one who realizes, or it's the fact that like the thing tells her it's in the wrong spot, but it's her noticing the actual codes, the Dewey Decimal codes. Yeah.
Well, she's. I'm thinking maybe this is a new experimental technology. So the terrorist group didn't actually know that this was coming in. They still thought the Dewey Decimal System was still being used.
This library's like cutting edge.
But it turns out that this has just been installed this morning, and it marks these books out of place. So she goes and moves them. Like they've still got the Dewey Decimal numbers on them because that was our whole idea for the
No, I think they would.
And then when they come and they realise that there's nothing out of place in this particular area, maybe just after she fixes it, she walks out and this group of people walk into that area. And, you can have some sinister music or something like that saying that maybe something's not quite right. She goes off and it goes into a cutscene where literally you see them looking through and they go, there's nothing out of place. That librarian must have moved it.
Or maybe there's even a conversation tree. Well, maybe it's even that there's a conversation where like they come and talk to you and you have a bit of a conversation where you tell them about this new system.
Oh, yeah.
And when they realize that, like, they go to kidnap her because they realize, oh shit, like this is the only person who can decode, who can know what the message was supposed to be.
Yeah. So I like the idea
but she manages to get away.
No, I actually like the idea that she gets caught at first.
Oh, she gets caught at first.
And then she manages to get away later, because then you can have, a simple puzzle of this is the escape room. Yeah. In which you're tied to the chair, so she has to go through and you have a couple of dialogues in this case, and that's where she starts analysing their speech and that sort of stuff. And you learn that.
Okay, she outsmarts them basically, and
she outsmarts them.
Get away.
She outsmarts one of them to actually untie her. She knocks them out, and then happens to run off. Yeah. And then it can just be sort of an adventure game in which she's trying to get the.
Well, because now she's trying to discover why they even tried to kidnap her, and she's researching them and trying to figure out what they're doing and stop them, while at the same time they're trying to capture her again and get the information out of her. That's cool.
So I think that's really ripe for lots of fun games with.
That's cool. I really like the idea of playing with the, because point and click adventure games are one of my favorite genres. But playing with the classic mechanics of dialogue trees and stuff. And we've done that a bit before, like in Blind Reflection, we had interesting things with the dialogue trees and stuff. And obviously, even a couple of weeks ago with Jacob on,
with the hand physics technology.
With the hand stuff, yeah. The hand stuff. But I like that. Like, bringing the whole grammar thing into the dialogue trees and stuff is really cool. Awesome. All right. Well, that was good. Let's end on that. Let's end on library. What was your word?
Insert and...
Yes, insert. Library insert. Oh, we totally could have done something with those old school, like, you remember the old inserts where they'd stamp it with the expiration, with the return date? Yeah, anyway.
Well, maybe that's got something to do with the code.
Maybe we'll bring that in there too. She's just a total old school librarian. She wants to go back to the days of Dewey Decimal and inserts with rubber stamps.
And she finds out through the inserts, that this person's book. Check this book out.
Oh yeah, maybe that could be part of it.
And...
Oh, that could be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just this is flavour.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there.
This is extra flavour. Okay, that is all we have time for on Bitstorm today.
Well, I mean, we could keep going, but that's all we're going to do.
Thank you all for joining us on Bitstorm today. We have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts, all Bitstormcast there, so just check us out there. Let us know of any ideas that we didn't have for the games that you're just trying to scream out at the podcast, but we can't hear you. So
the only way we can hear
there.
you is if you type at us, so do that.
Yes. You can check us out on iTunes. It's one of the easiest ways to subscribe to our podcast. We'd also like it if you could rate and review us, please. It will help us immensely in maybe getting onto some of those new and noteworthy or something else like that to get us out to more listeners.
If you don't want to use iTunes, we also have a website, bitstormcast.com. All of our episodes are up there. There are links there to subscribe in your favourite app as well. I personally use Pocket Casts. I don't know about you. So, yeah, check that out. We'd also like to thank Kuradust, who provided the opening and closing track, which is Mount Defiance from the album Containment Failure. Check them out at kuradust.net. And we'd just like to give a bit of a shout out to the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network, AGPN. They're a great network of other Australian gaming podcasts. You can use the hashtag AGPN on Twitter or just search for Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. And there's just a great community there. We've had a bunch of guests on from that community in the past and will do in the future. Hopefully check. A lot of them will be at PAX this year too, so when that comes around, get your tickets, check them out. We'll be there. Say hi.
Definitely. Okay, so I'm Trevor Scott.
I am Ben Slinger.
So Ben, a game where you're an investigator investigating heists that happen to be performed by a duck?
Bill Clinton. I'd play that.